All right, so this is my mechanical hazard board. So we use this unit to demonstrate different types of mechanical hazards that you might find on farm machinery. Right now there's a guard on it over all the components in there. What do you think the guard does for me?
Protects your fingers?
Yep, protects me. Like when that guard's in place, I can't contact any of that stuff. So I'm gonna take the guard or the shield off. Why would someone take the guard off of the machine, do you think?
So they can operate it and fix it.
Maybe to fix it, yeah. Yeah, they might have to do maintenance on it, like tighten the belts, or there's like grease fittings here, so they might have to grease the grease fittings, oil the chain, things like that. And sometimes the shield doesn't always get put back on, unfortunately. Or maybe they bought the machine and didn't have the shield, it was a used machine, they didn't have it. So all the shields and guards should be always kept in place. So now I'm going to operate my machine just to show you different things that are happening here. These are my fake fingers, carrots. And that yellow thing going back and forth, that's like a cutoff point. So it just cut off the end of my finger. So that's one cutoff point with that yellow thing that slaps back and forth. And the V-belt is a notorious cutoff point too. See if it'll... Well, this thing looks like a trailer hitch. Like where it's kind of like hooking up to a wagon, like a drawbar and a tractor and a wagon. This is a cutoff point down here. And there's a crush point at the bottom. So a cutoff point there. And then these gears that come together, this could be a pinch point or a crush point. And then these sprockets, what does this look like?
Kind of like slice point.
Well, yeah, kind of like the chain on your bicycle. You ever get your pant leg caught in that? No. It'll like kind of pull you in. Or that was a cut point. There's stored energy on this board too. Do you know what I mean by stored energy?
Like kinetic energy?
Sort of, yeah. Like this spring here is stored energy. Right now it's trying to pull the spring apart. It's pulling it apart. What is the spring trying to do?
Pull back together. Pull
back together. If I left my machine like that with the energy in the system and I'm in here working and somebody hits a lever or control, it's going to get me when that energy is released. So that's a form of stored energy. Springs are forms of stored energy. Things like gas cans, gas can be explosive. That can be stored energy. Batteries can be stored energy too. So a lot of different pinch points on this thing and mechanical hazards. When the person is done working on the machine, what do they need to do?
Put the guard back on.
Well, you might run it and test it, but put the guard back on. And now I can use the machine and I can run it because the guard is protecting me. In addition to the shields, you want to make sure you have tight-fitting clothing on. So you don't want to have anything loose or dangly that could get caught in the machine when it's running. If I had long hair, I'd want to tie that up under a hat or tie it up or tuck it up under hats. And then this picture here, this was a picture sent to me by a man that had a close call with a power shaft. So there's a rotating power shaft here, and there was no shield on that. Like the shield here, it wasn't in place, and he got too close to that when it was running, and it grabbed his clothes and it ripped the clothes off of his body like in the blink of an eye. And he said 1 second he was standing there next to that while it was running, and the next second, boom, he was flat on the ground. All he had on was his shoes and the ring of his t-shirt neck. Everything else was ripped off of his body.
So it was basically naked.
Yep. And he had, so he was lucky that his body didn't get wrapped around the whole shaft, because that's what happens to people sometimes. So he was okay because he didn't get pulled into it, but he had burns all over his body from the force of the clothes being ripped off of his body. So you need to stay away from the machines when they're operating. All the shields and guards should be in place, but stay away from them when they're running too. Don't get too close to them like this guy did. They should have had the shield on that shaft as well too, but it was missing.